Yo, yo. What's up, everybody? This is the first official episode of Peep Gang TV. This is your boy, Eric Urban. Thank you for tuning in. The first of many episodes, so be sure to continue to follow Peep Gang TV on Twitter and Facebook. And today, I'm joined by a special guest. I'm joined by Hasan Stephens, a.k.a. DJ Maestro.
What's going on?
If you're from Syracuse, you've seen this man before. He's done every party, event, festival, you name it. He's on the table spinning. And he's been killing it for multiple years, since I can remember. So we're going to get into everything from his background, his work as a professor, his work in the community, just everything. And that's the point of Peep Gang TV, is to tell the behind-the-scenes story of people you think you know, but there's a lot more than meets the eye.
You live right now?
Yeah, we live right now. Okay. My bad. Work in progress, you know what I mean? But you the man in entertainment, so you know I'm going to follow your lead. So let's get into it. Let's talk about your background, early childhood. You're not from Syracuse. You're from the Bronx, correct?
Yeah, Bronx, New York, Edenwald Projects.
Okay, so how was that growing up in New York? How was your childhood, your upbringing?
It was best of both worlds. It was rough because I lived in a pretty bad neighborhood.
Okay.
A lot of gunshots, a lot of murders. Drug dealings happening around me on a daily basis as a kid, having to walk by crackheads and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that negative experience. I had to battle in the hood in terms of getting jumped and, people trying to take your stuff and
right.
Having to defend yourself. But on the flip side, later on I had an opportunity to get a scholarship and go to, a pretty prestigious, wealthy white school.
Okay.
So by day, I was hanging out with some of the richest people in the country,
right.
And by night, I would come home to devastation and chaos, literally. Back then, if you Google Edenwald Projects, it's notorious.
Okay.
It was one of the most violent communities in the Bronx, especially at the time during the era of crack. So I had the best of both worlds, and I think that helped me because it allowed me to see what I didn't want and what I could have.
Okay. So that best of both worlds, you think that helps you with your success today, knowing how to, tote that line of corporate America, talking to people, but as well as being able to connect with the urban youth.
Yeah.
And we can get into your foundation a little bit later, but I think that'll definitely help you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm black, man. I
right.
love being black. I would probably be depressed if I was anything else. Nothing against anyone. It's just that for me, blackness is so beautiful.
Right.
And I love my culture, but I also recognize the negative things and bad aspects of my culture that were kind of injected in and given to us. And so, I think having those experiences allows me to say, I'm proud of who I am, where I came from, but that's not where I'm headed.
Okay. Perfect. So that's a perfect segue into your foundation. So your foundation is what we're here. We're in your office for the Good Life Foundation, right?
Right.
Talk to us a little about the Good Life Foundation and what that's all about.
The Good Life Foundation is solution-based. We're connectors. We want to connect urban youth, Black and Latino youth, to opportunity, access, and experience that helps to shift their mentality. And so we do that by using hip-hop culture and something that's familiar to them and teaching life skills from a different perspective, in a different way than it's typically taught. Financial literacy and asset building, and also entrepreneurship. And for me, entrepreneurship is it's the only way for us to come up as a people, really. And so the more we embrace it, the sooner and faster we will rise as a people, because jobs aren't being given to us, opportunities aren't handed to us, and so it's time for us to revisit some of our previous history where we had tons of entrepreneurs and kind of rise up that way.
Okay, so this knowledge and wisdom of entrepreneurship, you come from the Bronx, a rough neighborhood. These things aren't necessarily taught in school. So where's that inspiration? Where is this knowledge coming from? Did you have mentors? Was your mother influential? Who taught you about standing on your own too
Yeah.
and starting on your own?
Actually, it comes from a number of different places.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to grow up with uncles that owned car lots. You know,
Okay.
they were car dealers,
Right.
that had businesses, or they were preachers. And believe it or not, being a minister of a church and starting your own church, that's very entrepreneurial.
Hmm.
And so I watched them. It's not so much about being an entrepreneur or starting a business. It's about taking life, taking control of your life,
Right.
and being in control. And as a leader, it's the only way that I could do. I don't want to follow someone else. I'm a leader, so I want to be
Right.
able to. It doesn't mean that I can't, because I think all leaders need to know how to follow also.
Hmm.
But for my life, I want to be able to design it how I want to design it. So I got it from my uncles and family, but I also got it from my schooling. I was, we say that it's not taught in school. It's not taught in our schools.
Right.
And so that's the difference. If you go to a suburban white school or a wealthier school in a wealthier district, they are taught to be leaders. They're taught to be thinkers. They're taught to be individual. And when you break it down, that's really what an entrepreneur is. It's an individual thinker that can create solutions to problems in society and figure out ways that they can make money at the same time. So I was taught to be a leader in my school. Because I was able to go to a school that I normally wouldn't have access to.
Hmm.
And so now what I'm trying to do is take what I was taught, and give that to the schools and to the kids that don't have access to that.
Right. So a lot of it is institutional.
Right.
The problems, and it starts at the top level.
Yeah.
But I saw a post that you once said, and I'm paraphrasing, but you said mentality is the biggest problem with the urban community, and it's more than just poverty. It's a mentality that enslaves a lot of young black men in that situation. Can you explain what you mean by the mentality and how and ways for us to get out of that and break that mold?
Well, so mentality encompasses everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have statistics that tell you that shootings are, black men are homicide is basically the number one or rising killer of African American males.
Right.
You have people that talk about poverty, and poverty is putting us in situations or whatever. But poverty is a mentality.
Okay.
So people, part of poverty is not having access and having obstacles, that you can't overcome. But part of the reason why you can't overcome them is because of your mentality. So our habits, we're habitual creatures. So just speaking on the poverty aspect, what our habits define our practices. If we, they're the perfect example. There's some articles that talk about the difference between rich and poor.
Right.
And what the rich do versus what the poor do. And so I think I just read this statistic in a speech that I gave at the Southside Academy graduation. 78% of all rich people don't watch reality TV or something like that, right? Versus astronomical, it was 98% of the poor that watched reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one about how often rich people read. They read something at least an hour or more a day for personal development or career development, and poor people don't read. So there's some certain habits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the acquiring of knowledge is a perfect example, a tool for you to be able to escape poverty. I was poor. I grew up poor, but with my knowledge, I'm able to come out and maneuver and do things through life. So it's a mentality that says education is not important. Our people run from education. You know what I'm saying? Our people are worried about what kicks we're wearing, balling at the club, and doing all of that. That's a mentality. That's a way of thinking, right? When you shoot somebody, the fact that you believe that a life is not valuable, or that particularly a black life is not valuable, that was a mentality that was handed to us, that was given to us, because someone devalued our bodies and said, you aren't important. You aren't important, so why would you think yourselves are important, right? That everything is based in the way that we are thinking, and when we unlearn and shift the mentality that was handed to us, we're able to start doing better. You know the saying, when you know better, you do better?
Right.
Same thing. So that's where it comes from.
So breaking these habits that's been in us for multiple years and passed down.
Right.
So you've been there, you've done it, you've seen it. Talk about your path to getting where you are today. Most people know you as a DJ. Did you always know you wanted to become a DJ? Did you always a fan of music? Did you love music? How did that happen?
Always a fan of music.
Okay.
I got involved in entertainment at a very early age. So
Okay.
growing up in the Bronx, I actually started by dancing and singing.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this about me, but I used to do off-Broadway plays.
Nice.
You know, as a kid, as a professional off-Broadway play performer. I worked with people like Savion Glover, the tap dance kid.
Okay.
I worked with Harry Belafonte, Sherry Belafonte,
Wow.
you know, his daughter. I worked with Gregory Hines, and you know, through this program that I was a part of, Prep for Prep, had exposed me and opened me up to the performing arts, and from there I had gotten into the, you know, the semi-professional, you know, world of it. So that's how I started, was dancing and singing. Then I started rapping. So I actually became an MC. And so when I was younger in the city, I was going around. I actually used to rap in ciphers with Mos Def. People know him as Mos Def, the rapper. But we had the same producer, Sean J. Period. And again, that was another. You talk about opportunity and access. I was exposed to that through the program that I was in, because of people that I knew. And so we had the same producer. The same producer that brought Mos Def out was my producer. We used to get together in Brooklyn all the time, and so I was exposed to that. My mom was, I did a little bit of acting, did some commercials with the Cunningham Agency. So I was doing a lot of entertainment. And then my mom was a stickler for education. My family is all about education. And so what she said was, you know, if you can't do right in school, you know, because I was a young kid, totally focused on, you know, performance and entertainment, whatever. And she said, if you can't do well in school, you're going to stop doing it. You know, I was modeling, I was doing all types of stuff. And she had the foresight to say, school comes first.
Right.
And so she always emphasized college. And so the way that I transitioned to DJing was when I came to college in upstate New York, Geneva, New York, Hobart and William Smith colleges.
Okay.
I actually was looking for a culture that supported hip hop. I was that kid that was running around campus like, yo, you spit, you flow, yo, you rap, you know what I'm saying? And nobody did. It was an ultra white
and Hobart,
environment.
That's tough to find in
Small
Hobart.
city. They didn't have radio that was playing hip hop, and so I kind of pioneered a lot of that out there. You know, I joined the radio station in college, and excuse me, that's when I learned how to DJ. I started messing with vinyl because for me as a kid coming from the Bronx, all I needed was hip hop.
Right.
All I needed was hip hop. I just needed a way to express myself and to maintain my sanity in an environment that didn't support blackness.
Right.
And that was through hip hop. So I said, if I can't rap and it wasn't an outlet, I'm gonna be a DJ. And I started learning on the radio station, and then I got my first 2 credit cards. You know, that you hit 18, you open your mailbox, somehow they know. It's like they connected with the CIA, right? But I bought some DJ equipment and just started practicing and started charging and touring.
Okay.
You know?
Cool. So at Hobart, it's not really a big hip hop scene. So you just go on that entrepreneurial, you know, that knack you have for it.
Right.
That's where that kicked in. You so you starting parties, going door to door. So what's your favorite part about rocking the crowd? You've done multiple parties, events, festivals, bar mitzvahs, and they're all different.
Yeah.
But it all has that same connection where people are having a good time.
Right.
And I would think that's one of your favorite parts. So talk about what you experienced while DJing.
Well, one of the things that caused me, the reason why I named myself Maestro, and I brainstormed for a while about what my name would be. Maestro because I like to teach, but Maestro also because as a symphony maestro, I look at it, I equate it to controlling the emotions of the crowd, like I'm controlling the music. So I'm the maestro. I can lift them up, I can bring them down, I can manipulate and play with the crowd. So for me, it's about excuse me, I'm so sick. For me, it's about controlling the crowd and making them have a good time.
Right.
If they walk away like, yo, that was great, that makes me enjoy the event. People that love music and can appreciate music, if you come to me and all you want to hear are your 5 songs in rotation, you can keep that. I'm not interested. I want music lovers that can appreciate good music and rock out to good music because I'm gonna play it well. You know what I'm saying? So
if I looked on your iPad right now, your Apple Music, Are you listening to the oldies? Are you into the new rap, the new type of music? What are you? What is DJ Maestro listening to?
I have to listen to everything because I have to stay current
Right.
and listen. Um, the greatest era for me is um, 90s and early 2000 hip hop. You
Okay.
know, bad boy era, all of that for me. You
Mhm.
know, but I'm also listening to new stuff too. You know, I'm familiar with all the new stuff, and there's some new stuff that I really like. You know, I think, for example, I think Future is. He's okay as an artist. He's kind of whack lyrically, right? But his beats are crazy, right?
Right.
Because he's getting it from the producer that's Banana, Metro Boomin, and all these
Right.
guys are on point.
Right.
But as far as new hip hop, I stay. You know, Jay is still relevant. He
Right.
stays relevant. I love Jay. J.
Mhm.
Cole, Kendrick is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Mhm.
listening to new hip hop to get that new feed, but
Mhm.
I'm still seeing that type of that lane.
Right.
Kendrick is bananas, yo.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I stay. If I'm listening in the car, that's when I'm checking out.
Okay.
You know, so
So we grew up at different time periods, but we enjoy and appreciate the same type of
absolutely,
music.
it's the
you know.
quality.
It's the quality.
As long as the quality's there, it's, you know.
So you think it's shying away, or do you think the market is just so oversaturated that there's and the internet has allowed so many people to try their hand at this? You know what I mean? There's a new artist every day.
Right.
Um, so do you think that lyricism is people are shying away from lyricism and going to the trendy new things, or do you think it's room for everybody to try
Um,
their hand?
I think hip hop was shying away from lyricism for a while, but I
Okay.
think it's swinging back.
Okay.
If you look at the top money earning and making artists, you got Drake,
Uh-huh.
you got Jay Still, you got J. Cole,
Mhm.
Kendrick. All of those guys are lyrical.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so there's definitely a space for lyricism. But you also have this popcorn, hip hop, Migos, great sounding for a party, but you're
Mhm.
not gonna be sitting and become intelligent listening to some Migos in the car. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think that there's a lane and a space for everything. There's nothing wrong with Migos, man. I like them.
Mhm.
I like Ray Shremmerd. I like all those guys. There's nothing wrong with it. But for me, as an intellectual, I want to hear something that makes me think. And if I'm in a party, then I want to bounce to something that's gonna make me bounce.
Right.
So I think there's a lane. The problem is, it goes back to mentality. If we as a people, Sun Tzu said this. He said, you can tell, I think it was Sun Tzu, he said, you can tell the mentality of a people by the face of their music, their art, right? So
Mhm.
think about black people for a second. If all of our hip hop is about shoot 'em up, bang bang, pop mollies, drugs, which it never was, that was given to us, right? It never was, but it is now. We got kids that have no identity, that are detached from society, that are listening to it, and now they're going out popping mollies, doing all this crazy stuff that traditionally the biggest drug problem we ever had was weed.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But Future tell you he doesn't even drink syrup.
Yeah,
He
really
doesn't
do
do
it.
drugs. He
He
doesn't do
can
none
say
of
it.
that. But all of his songs talk about it.
Mhm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if we as a people wake up and understand our music as entertainment, and then also from a mentality perspective, make sure that we are supporting, listening to, and following the music that's intelligent, the Drakes, the Kendricks, all of that, we'll be better off as a people.
Mhm. So when does that date back to? Because even the NWAs, the DMXs, they weren't talking of making love songs either. So it's not really a new thing.
Right?
But so you think is it the institution, is the industry's responsibility to uplift the artists that are talking about positive messages, or should the market dictate who's on top? Because if you let a kid decide, he gonna pick the music that's gonna make him dance.
Well, not necessarily though.
No.
Because during the '90s, kids were picking Public Enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a kid, I was listening to Brand Nubian,
Okay.
the 5% Nation. I was learning about knowledge of self.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So a kid's gonna pick what's popular.
Mhm.
A kid's gonna pick what sounds good, right?
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of people think a lot of times that, well, if it's intelligent hip hop, it doesn't sound good. No, that's the fault. That's the fault of the producer and the artist, and all of that. There's a lot of lyrical MCs that don't have good sounding music.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So long story short, it's I think that there's a direct connection between the industry and the shift in music, right? The lack of diversity. The reality is that they're business people. If they can rape a group of people and they can get their money, that's their job. That's what they're focused on doing. It's up to us to create and shape our culture, which is something that black people don't do. We created hip hop. We created rock music. We let it go. They took it. We didn't take control of it. Rock today, most black kids don't even know that rock was created by Chuck Berry and by all these other black artists. They don't know that rock came from us. They don't know that country came from us. Every American music, art form, and aesthetic was created by or heavily influenced on the early end by African Americans, right? Techno, that came from house music, that came from Chicago. Jazz, that's black. But if you go to Jazz Fest, you'll never know it until they put the headline artist up.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Or somebody else.
So every art form that we have had has been taken, co-opted, changed, and taken credit for. And hip-hop is that last thing that's like, yo, let's hold on to that. But now it's being co-opted, but it's not being co-opted in a way that it's like, oh, well, it is. We still have the Iggy Azaleas and things like that. but black people and even white people are getting hip, and they're like, nah, we don't want that. It's not authentic. But if you disguise it as authenticity through amigos or somebody who's going to be talking about bullshit, oh, it still seems authentic. Authenticness all of a sudden is associated with drugs, violence. That's what it means to be authentically black.
There it is. All right, so let's talk about you're a musician. Your work in the community. If I'm not mistaken, you have a DJ company.
Yeah. DJ and marketing.
Right. And you also help the youth that wants to get into music, into DJing. So what are you trying to instill in the people that are trying to get into music? What is your message to the youth when you're talking to them about getting into music in this industry and things that can help them?
I don't really have a message about the creation of it.
Okay.
You know, be authentic, be original. Cool.
Okay.
Everybody gives that message. We know that, right? Stop following, create, be a creator. But I think the biggest message that needs to be said out there is that stop always wanting to be the rapper. You know what I'm saying? The rapper is surrounded by entertainment lawyers. I have a friend that graduated from my college named Jan Walden. He's an entertainment lawyer. He was a lawyer for Diddy, for Jay-Z, for Rockefeller, makes good money. Makes good money, and a lot of times the people surrounding the artists make more money than the artists. Why?
Right.
Because there's very few artists that's actually blowing up like that, and you got to really sell well.
Right.
With the new 360 deals and a different type of structures with entertainment deals and contracts. People aren't making money like that.
No.
So why do we always want to be the character in front of the screen? Cool, but just know that there's other things.
Yeah.
There's the A&R. There's the manager, the road manager. There's a million different people. There's the person that does the marketing. Marketing and branding. There's so many different things that require education. And even the artists, you can't just get up in front of a microphone and start spitting. It doesn't work that way. If you really want to have longevity, you got to be intelligent. You got to have knowledge. You know what I'm saying? J. Cole's college graduate.
Right.
Kendrick, I don't know his situation, but I can tell you the brother's smart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Jay didn't do the college route, but guess what? He knows more in his head than the average person. Right? Because maybe he didn't, because school is just about being structured so that you can get the information. But if you can get the information because you're seeking it and you get it.
Right.
So that's what I say is know more about the craft. Be masters of your craft. If you want to be in the music business, know everything about it.
Right. And education is key.
Yeah.
Education is huge.
Yeah.
So I guess we can wrap up with there. I want to thank you for being my first guest on Peep Game TV.
Peep Game.
Thank you for joining me. There'll be plenty more coming. And that's a wrap for Eric Urban, Peep Game TV. See y'all next time.